Hello guys, and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be taking on a front-end mentor challenge called ping single column coming soon page. Now as you can see from the design, this is relatively easy. We're going to be building it mobile first and then scaling it up. So if you need the challenge, you have to go to frontendmentor.io and then /challenges, and then you need to just come and search for this challenge and click it. And then to download the files that you'll need, all you need to do is click this button which will download the files for you. But I've already done that, and make sure you're logged in. I'm currently logged out. If you try to download it while you're logged out, it won't work, as you can see. So log in with GitHub and then you can download the challenge and we can begin. I've already done that and extracted it, and it's right here, so I'm going to open it with Visual Studio Code. Okay, we can take a look at the design. We have the design of just basically a blueprint of what we'll be working with, just those, and then we can take a look at the images. The favicon, this is already set up usually. Let me just confirm it. Right there, it's already set up, so we don't actually need to touch this. And the illustration is just the image that we're going to have on our landing page, and the logo, of course, is the logo for the ping, and we're going to be adding that. The next thing we're going to be taking a look at is actually the style guide, because this actually contains the layout that we need, the colors that we need, and the font, which is Libre Franklin, like that. We're going to begin getting it from fonts.google.com. So I can just copy this and open it in a new tab, and you can get the sizes, the weights, sorry, 300, 600, and 700. So you can do that, and I say 300, 600, and 700, like that. And then I'm going to go to my import tab and grab this. Okay, now in order to use that, we actually need to create another file right here, and we're going to call it style.css. And then in my HTML, I'm going to link my CSS file. I'm going to remove this in a moment, so I'm just going to link my CSS file right there, and I'm going to say it's in style.css, like so. And then I'm going to open it and paste that inside before I forget. And then I'm going to come and grab this, remove it from here, and paste it in my CSS file as well. And then I can remove this, and I can also remove this comment, like so. And we'll be ready to begin. And I don't think I'll be using this, so I'm just going to remove it like that. Oops, shouldn't have saved. Okay, so we can begin working with this, and we say let me just open the design file in my image viewer, my design file, so I can work with it. Okay, there you go. Now I want to build this mobile first, so I'm going to take the mobile version, just squeeze it in a bit, and you can see this ping is the SVG logo that we have, which is right here. Okay, so we can do that. We can begin to style it, and we say let's take a look at this, and we can say this will be a form. You can see this is the header, the logo. This is a head, and this is just a small paragraph, and of course the showcase image, and we have links down here as well as the copyright. Okay, so let's begin. I'm going to say, let me make a header with a class of header, and I'm going to say I want the image which is coming from my images folder, and it's called logo svg. I'm just going to say ping logo, like that. And then below that, I'm going to make a div, or let me just say a showcase, a section, sorry, with a class of heading, like so. I'm going to say a h1 saying we are launching soon, like that. Now you can see that all of this is at h1, but it seems like this is inside a span of its own. That's why it's been styled differently with a thicker font weight than this. So I'm just going to take this and place it inside a span, like that, so I can style it differently than this. And then below it, I'm going to say a paragraph saying subscribe subscribe and get notified, like that. Okay, next I'm going to create my form. I think I'm just going to create it inside here so we can have a small number of sections that we need to style. So I can remove this because we already have them. And inside here I'm going to say, let me create a form with my class of form dash control. We don't need an action. And inside the form I want an input, an input with a type of email. And then I'm going to say the name is email with an ID of email and a placeholder text saying your email address. And then I'm going to say it's required, and I want to remove my autocomplete from my email, so I'm going to say autocomplete equals off, like that. And then we need a button with a type of submit, and I'm going to say notify me, like so. And then just below that we're going to need the actual showcase image, so I'm going to go below that and create another section with a class of showcase, and that will just have the image, which is called illustration dashboard. And for the alt I'm just going to say showcase image, like that, or ping showcase image. And then this will take up this section. And then for the footer I'm going to place this in a footer. I can remove this, and I'm going to say a footer, the class of footer. I'm going to say, let me create a UL with LIs and A's. Do we actually have these images provided? We don't have these images, so I'm going to have to grab these images from Font Awesome. And I'm going to say, let me just create 3 list items with anchor tags, like that. And I'm going to say the first one, because I'm going to be grabbing them from Font Awesome, I'm going to be using classes from Font Awesome. In order to use classes from Font Awesome, we need an I tag, like so, and then we need the classes of the icons that we need. But I'm going to show you a shorthand property. I'm going to say I need an I tag with a class of FAB and another class of FA-face, Facebook, like that. That will create the Facebook icon that I want. Then for the second one I will need an I tag, FAB and FA-Twitter, like that. And for the final one I need FAB and FA-Instagram. Okay, like that. And then I think I can move this up here and just place it maybe inside a paragraph, like so. So let me go ahead and grab Font Awesome. Let's just open this with the live server, place it to the side, but let me grab Font Awesome from cdnjs.com, and I'm going to say Font Awesome. If it searches for it, I'm going to grab this, can close that, and I'm going to place it. You can see the images don't show, so I'm just going to place it above or below here. Once I save that, the images should load like so. So let me just place this side by side, and then we can begin to style it. Okay, so the first thing that I'd like to do is actually place everything to the center, because we are not going to do much for these 2 icons. And I'm just going to go to my style CSS, remove this style CSS, and I'm going to say I want the images to take up a max width of 100%, and then I want the body to have a font family of, what's it called, Franklin, like that, and a fallback of sans serif. And I'm going to say I want I think that's pretty much it for the body. Probably the body probably has a very light background color, so I'm just going to check this. A very dark blue, gray, okay, light red, pale blue, sorry. Can do that. I'm going to say, let me try this. No, that's not it. Blue. What does this look like? Paste that in. No, that's too dark. So I'm just going to remove it for now. Anyways, it's not a big deal. So the first thing I'm going to do, let me just text align center. Oops, not there. Let me just text align center. Everything centers like so, and I'm going to remove these bullets from here, and I'm going to say for the URL I want this style type to be none, and I forgot to add my globals here, my also that, and I'm going to say margin of 0. The margin of 0 will remove these many margins that we have here, and then the padding of 0 will remove the padding that is here on the list, as well as the padding on the button. And I'm going to say box sizing of border box like so, so that elements just remain in their container like so. And then we can begin to style the body. The body, let me place a padding of 50 pixels on the top and bottom, and 0 on the left and right like that. And let me see, let's go to our header class. Actually, we don't even need to style this is already nice as it is. So I'm going to go to my heading class and target my h1, my paragraph. Okay, so below I'm going to say for my heading class I want my h1, and I want the font weight to be 300. Once I save this, you'll see it will change to this. Okay, but then I want this soon plus the exclamation to have a font weight of 700, like in the design, as you can see right there. So I'm going to say I'm going to target my heading, and I want my h1, and I want the span inside the h1, and I'm going to say a font weight of 700. Oops, it's heading, not header, like that. And we can add some padding on the top and bottom, so these are pushed up and down respectively. And I'm going to say a padding of 70 pixels on the top, 0 on the left and right, and 30 pixels on the bottom, like that. Maybe 60 or 50, like that. And then I'm going to grab my, inside my heading class, I'm going to grab my paragraph, and I'm going to say reduce it to about 14 pixels, and I'm going to say padding on the bottom, padding bottom to be 20 pixels. And yeah, that's looking very nice. Let me reduce this padding on the header so that this moves up a bit. I'm going to say this should reduce to 20. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is style my form. Okay, style my input at the button. You can see if I try to submit it, it gives some type of HTML validation, which is really nice, and it doesn't give autocomplete suggestions, so that's why I added the autocomplete of here. The reason I added this is because I have other emails that I don't want to be known. There's a typo, like so. I don't want a data breach. Okay, so I'm going to say I'm going to style my form next, and it's inside a class of form control in the heading. So I'm just going to say for the heading, oops, for the heading I want the class of form dash control, like so. And I want let me first limit it. I'm going to say I want a width of 300 pixels and a margin of auto. And then I'm going to say for my heading and for the form control and the input, and as well as the button. Now let me just tell them individually. For the input, I'm going to say I want a width of 100%. Really, that doesn't push it down. Okay, that's okay. And I'm going to say let me add some padding here, and I'm going to say padding of 8 pixels. Is this correct? Why isn't this working? Heading, why do I keep misspelling that? Okay, yeah, that works. Okay. And then I'm going to say a font family of inherit like that, and I want a font size of 14 pixels. Now let's do 16. And then I'm going to, let me just check the color. The color is blue, and I'm going to say I want the color to be this blue that I copied and pasted. And then a border, I want the border to also be this blue color, so I'm going to say a border of 2 pixels, solid and the same color, like so. And I want a border radius of how much? 30 pixels, like so. Oops, that's too thick. 1 pixel. There you go. Okay, this didn't work because this should be on the placeholder also, so that it can work. So in order to target the placeholder, we're going to have to grab all of this, all of that, and we put a double colon and say placeholder, like that. And then we can copy this and push it down, and then we just reduce the font back to 14, like so. And you can see it's looking very nice. Let me just remove the outline because it looks out of place. So I'm going to say outline none, like that. And it's looking nice, very nice, very nice, very nice. Next, we're going to style this button. Let me just place a margin on the bottom for the width. Let's say margin bottom of 10 pixels so that it pushes the button down. And then I'm going to grab this and begin to style my button, like so. And I'm going to say a width of 100% as well. I want a background color of this blue. I want the text color to be white. I want the font family to inherit, and I want padding of 8 pixels as well so that it matches with the input. I want a border of 2 pixels solid and that color as well, and I want a border radius of 30 pixels so that they match. Let's save that. You can see it looks very nice. Let me see a cursor point, like that, and it's looking nice. Let me just confirm this. Yeah, it's looking very nice, very nice. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is now begin to style this, add some padding on the left and right and on the top and bottom for this image so that they push apart. It pushes apart from the edge of the window. So this is the class of showcase, and I want just on the showcase class, I want to say a padding of, let me check this, padding of 50 pixels on top, 20 pixels on the left and right, and how much on the bottom? About maybe 100 pixels on the bottom. 100 is too much. Let's say 80 pixels. Yeah, that looks fine. And you can see because I've added the padding now, this no longer stretches all the way to the end. And pretty much that's it for this. And we're going to go ahead to the footer next. And for the footer, it has a class of footer, like so. So I'm just going to say for the footer, and actually since I removed this, we don't need this. I'm going to say for the footer, let me just target the ULs, and I'm going to say for the ULs to display flex, align item center. So we don't even need that. Okay, do we do now? And just for content center so that it plays to the center. And I'm going to grab this and place some margin on the list items, and I'm going to say margin of 0 on the top and bottom and 20 pixels on the left and right. See how that looks? That looks nice. And I want to change the color for this, and let me just check the inside anchor tags. Okay, so I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to say for the anchor tags, I want the color to be the blue color that we have above, this one right there. And then let's even see, we want this to push downwards a bit. So this is a paragraph, so I'm just going to say for the footer paragraph, I want padding on the top to be 20 pixels. Let me reduce the font size to 14 pixels, like that. And voila, we are already done with the mobile version. So we can begin to scale it up, because as you can see, we don't want the image to span 100%, like so. So what we can actually do is, let's take a look at the design. How does it look? And we can see that the font size is bigger here, and these are now placed side by side. And then this is also limited, and there's a hover effect It's a hover effect that we didn't add. That's okay. So let me just begin to scale it up, and I'm going to start with a width of about this, and I'm going to say add a media query saying for a minimum width of about let's do how much, 700 pixels. Then let me scale up this heading. Okay, the heading was in, where was my heading? Right here. Okay, so just to paste that there, and I'm going to say I want the font size to be 36 pixels, like that. And I just noticed that this font weight is fainter, it's fainter than this, so let me just grab the color, which is gray, like that, and I'm going to say it's for the H1s and the paragraphs, so I'm going to place it as a global style. The reason why I'm placing it as a global style is because adding them manually will be just repeating myself over and over, so I'm just going to say this to be that. Oops, actually, yeah, that works. So I just have to change the color for this, for the span, and for the span I'm going to say I want the color to be dark or black, like so. That looks nice, that looks nice. Okay. So let's begin to style. Where we were styling this. Next I want to style the form, and I'm just going to go back to my form, and I'm going to change these widths up a bit. So I'm going to say go below here, remove this, and say the width should be auto, like that. And I'm going to grab my form control, my heading and the form control, and I want the input as well as the heading, and I want the form control as well as the button. Okay, so once I do that, I want a width of auto for them as well, like so, and you can see it goes back to normal. But then I'd like to add some padding for them, and I'm going to say a padding of, I had 8 pixels on the top and bottom, so I'm going to change this to 12 pixels. And then for the left and right, I'm going to say 20 pixels, like that. But I want this button to be just a bit elongated. Okay, so I'm going to say grab this, and I'm going to say the button should have a width of 150 pixels. Yeah, that's much better. Maybe I can increase the width for this as well. I'll do that on a later screen size. And then I now want to limit this image, so I'm going to go to my showcase, and I want the image, and I want the width to be 400 pixels. Too small. 600 pixels. Okay, and that will remain at 600 pixels for all the device widths. And the last thing that I'm going to do is add a hover effect for these as well as the button. Okay, so let me just do that for the button first. Where's the button? Right here. I'm going to say for the button, for the hover state, I want the background color to be transparent. I want the text color to be the blue color that we have, just so that we can maintain a kind of theme. And I want, let me move this down and add a transition effect on the button. I'm going to say transition the background color by 0.4 seconds, and look at that, it looks very nice. So let's add some hover effect for this as well, and I'm going to say let's call this, actually where is this? Let me try something. I want the hover state, of course. Let me just see, padding of 10 pixels, background color of red. Okay, that works. And a border radius of 50%, and then I can remove where did I place the margin? Right here. Oops, we need that. Okay, what we can do is for the hover, I'm going to move these down, I'm going to change this background color to our blue color, and you can see, look at that. But then I want the color to change to white on hover, like so. And we can as well add a transition effect, transition the background color once again, background color by 0.4 seconds. And yeah, that's looking very nice. No, that's fine. Okay. Now you can see that in our images we have some kind of validation for this, but I don't think I'm going to do that, just because it involves emails, and emails usually involve checking for a regular expression. And I think me sitting here talking about regex is just going to be super hard, because I'm also not that good at regex. But I can give you a kind of look to how it's done. And we're going to create a script file called script.js, link it in our HTML just below the closing tag of the body, and I'm going to say script.js. Navigate to it, then can close this and this. Now I'm going to place an ID for my form, which is where right here I'm going to say for the form I want an ID of form, so I can target it in my JavaScript. And then this has an ID of email, and the button I also want an ID of button as well, because we are going to be needing them. So I'm going to start by getting all my variables, and I'm going to get my form, which will be document.get element by ID, and it's called form. And I'm just going to copy this down 2 more times. And for this second one we want the email, and this third one we want the button like that. Now let me just show you something with HTML. If I were to come here and remove this required, okay, I can do that. If I were to remove required right here and go back to my my page, you'll notice that once I enter something and submit it, really at gmail.com, once I enter something and submit it, the general behavior of the web page is to refresh. So what we're going to be doing first is we're going to be targeting the form and listening for the submit event on the form, and then we're going to be preventing the default behavior of refreshing the web page when the submit button is clicked. So I'm just going to place required back there, and I'm going to say for my form I want to add an event listener, and we're listening for a submit event on the form. And once that is called, let me squeeze this a bit. Once this is called, then I want to add a synthetic event. I want to target it, and I'm going to say we want to do what? We want to prevent the default behavior, and I'm going to say e.prevent default, like so. And then once we do that, then we're going to be calling the function that we're going to be calling to validate our inputs. Can you stop doing that? Like that. Okay. And then obviously the next thing will be to create our function, which is called function validate, like so. And the things that we're going to be needing is we're going to need the values that are entered here. Okay, so we're going to say const create a variable, and we're going to say the email value is going to be the email dot what's it called, dot target dot value, oops, dot target dot value. Is that really how it's done? Just a moment. Okay, I'm doing this wrong. We just need the email, and we need the value for the email, and just to make it safer, I'm going to trim it like so. And then once we do that, we want to check for a few things, and we're going to say if if email value is if email value is empty, then we want to do something. And then we're going to be checking for another condition, and we're saying that if the email value is actually an email, okay, we're going to be checking for whether the value of the email entered is not an email. I said whether it's an email, so I'm going to say create a function called is email like that, and I'm going to say not, and we're checking for the email value like that, and we want to do something else here. And then once these two pass, then we want to do something else here, which I'm going to, and this should actually be equal signs. Okay, so what we're going to be setting here is we're going to be creating another function called set error for, and we're going to say set error for what's it called, the email, and we're going to say a message of something like email cannot be empty, like that. And this as well, we're going to set error for, because they are failing the tests, of course, and we're going to say email, and we're going to say if it's not a valid email, we're going to say what did they say here? Please provide a valid email address. Please provide a valid email address, like that. And then once these two pass, then it means that the email is valid and it is not empty. So we're going to do something like set a success class and set success for email, just like that. We don't need a message for that. And then of course the next thing that we're going to do is create these two functions, set successful, set successful and set error for, so that we can actually perform these checks. So just below here you can create another function, oops, not inside there but outside, and you can say function set error for, and in this function is where you can now do the checks, not do the checks but add the classes for error, okay, the error classes which will be displaying this, which I haven't added really, so I'm not going to do that. I haven't added them. And then you can create another function called set successful, set successful, like that, and you do the opposite right inside here, which means set successful, then you put like a green check mark or something to show that it's a valid email. And then of course you don't forget to create this is email function, which will be something like function is email, like that. And then inside here you're going to place your regex function for checking for the email. And I think I have a sample regex, so let me just see if I can find it. Give me a moment, guys. Alright guys, I have a sample regex function, and I'm just going to paste it in. All of this is a regex function which will be going to be testing for whether the entered email is valid, and we should target it here and say we're checking for the email, like that. And yeah, once you see this, you can see already why I was trying to avoid this, because this is kind of hard to explain. But we're basically checking for the letters, the numbers, and everything else that is good in an email. And then once it passes this test, then we can now display the success class for our what's it called, for our input. Or like if you are serving some server-side things, then you can accept that input and accept that email. So yeah guys, I think that will be it for this video. Please remember to leave a like and subscribe for more content, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.